Hello and welcome to Women in Business on iBrand TV. I am Margaret Opara. On today's show, we will be discussing gender diversity in workplace. Men and women have different viewpoints, ideas, and market insights, which enables better problem solving. Gender diversity is vital to any workplace, not just because it's a laudable goal. It simply makes the bottom line business sense. The study of more than 800 business units, two companies representing two different industries, the retail and hospitality industries. Gender diverse business units in the hospitality company show a 19% higher average quarterly net profits than less diverse business units. If the gender diverse business units are also highly engaged, financial performance improves drastically. Retail units that are diverse and engaged have a 46% higher increase in comparable revenue. Similarly, diverse and engaged units in the hospitality company have a 58% higher net profit than single gender and less engaged units. These results show addictive effects of gender diversity and engagement of companies' bottom line. Today on the show, we'll have a guest joining us to dissect this issue with the person of Chris Oluigbo, who is a media personality, but you will meet him after the short break. So stay with us. You're welcome back from that short break. If you're just joining us, this is Women in Business, and today I said we'll be discussing gender diversity in workplace. I also said we have a guest on the show in person of Chris Oluigbo, who is a media personality. Hello Chris, thank you for being on the show.
Hello.
In the issue of gender diversity in workplace, can you kindly state some reasons why you think gender diversity is important in the work environment and businesses generally?
Talking about gender diversity in the workplace, and you're asking why I think that gender diversity is important in a workplace. I wouldn't say it's important or not. I wouldn't take a stand with regards to that, but I will start by saying that most times men have a different perspective, with regards to how they look at things than women do. I mean, the popular saying, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, or vice versa. It's all about perspective, about the way you do things. Now, for every task, there is always more than one way to handle it. And in an office, it's always good to, have an open mind and see things from different angles. Problems are usually solved better, and faster when people look at different perspectives of the particular task at hand, then put it together. And if you put it together, sometimes you take a little from A and a little from B and you merge it together and you come up with a solution that's tangible and is long lasting. So with regards to diversity in an office, some people would say that men are more IQ based. They like to think things out. They like to see the logic in practically everything, while women are more emotional. Women, a lot of times people would say that women have that maternal instinct, but in actual fact, it's actually emotional intelligence, and quite a lot of research has pointed to the fact that women are more emotionally intelligent than men. So you have your EQ and your IQ, and of course, if you have been involved in recruiting people for an office, basically most human resource management personnel know about EQ versus IQ, and a lot of times it's good to have a balance of both. You have to have the emotional capability to work in a group, with a team, in a department, in an office, and you also do have to have the knowledge. Now, the knowledge without the emotional capability to blend with the people you have to work with leads to friction. So with regards to EQ, women are have more of that EQ. They're more empathic, and they tend to provide that bonding that is needed to keep a team together. That's what EQ does most times. The bonding, the understanding, the ability to communicate properly, relate and understand, people, not necessarily understand the job, but understand the people. That's another side of the job. So with regards to EQ, IQ, with regards to gender diversity, it's always good to have a little balance of everything.
All right, thank you for that reply. Now, some point on how gender diversity and inclusion in workplace can be promoted to achieve better results in offices, companies, and what have you.
Well, a simple way to go about that is to create a quota. You have a percentage of the female gender that you're going to hire in your office. You have a percentage of the male gender that you're going to hire in your office. 50-50 most times is an easy way to go about it. For a media house, I mean, you'd love to hear a female on-air personality and a male on-air personality, and a lot of times you have female and male on-air personalities complementing themselves in the studio. You hear a male voice and a female voice. Why? Because the male voice appeals to a different audience, while the female voice appeals to a different audience, and the ability to connect and relate with your audience from their own perspective is very important. So that 50-50 is always a good blend with regards to on-air personalities on a radio station. Now, with regards to other professions, I mean, quite a number of people would argue differently with regards to their profession. Some people would argue that some professions are for men, some would argue that some professions are for women. I'm sure you must have heard, arguments about that. Like, I would use construction. Quite a number of construction companies, if you carry out a survey, you would realize that most construction companies, would rather employ a man for specific roles. So depending on the role you're looking at, but if it's proper outdoor construction, you look at people like controlling cranes, you look at people digging, that physical work, jobs that are physically intensive. For most times, a lot of companies would hire men. One reason for that is the fact that the female gender has been painted as a weaker gender with regards to physical strength. So, I mean, most companies would look at the staff member that they would hire that can handle the amount of physical strain that the job would require and dictate. And for some other professions, you would have professions where you would expect that a female sensitivity would be appropriate, depending on the job. So, I mean, people would argue that for some jobs, men are more suitable, and for some jobs, women are more suitable. I'm not really going to be here and try and specify or say I'm picking any side, but I say work with the strategy that, works for your company, for whatever business that you're running. Now, it doesn't mean that if you do have a female, staff or someone applying for a post in that particular company that happens to be female and is capable of handling that particular strain, that you shouldn't employ her. But I'm just saying, in general, most people would assume that for some particular roles, you would expect a male to handle it, and if it's physical and if it's less physical, they will be okay with a female handling it. At some point, there was this general picture in practically everybody's mind when you mention a nurse. Most people would think of a lady. Why? I think, when you find yourself in a hospital and you're really down and you're in need of comfort, you're in need of someone to, basically just empathize with you. I mean, most times it's a whole lot easier for quite a number of women. I'll go back to the maternal instinct to empathize with someone who is feeling down on his luck. That mother's touch, sometimes for quite a number of situations, it does really help. Men are more logical. I mean, you would probably have a male nurse tell you the situation and break it down to you exactly how it is with, not that much emotion, which is why emotional intelligence is fast becoming an important and relevant, study in most fields, because you really do need to know how to communicate with people. That's why I said the profession and the technical know-how, the IQ is on one side, but the ability to communicate, the ability to inform, relate with people, make people feel that you understand exactly, what they're going through, does help in some professions. So for how to promote, the whole gender diversity in a lot of professions, I think a quota system is a simple and easy way to go about it. Just have a specific number of, men and of women that you want in your office. Break it down. For units that you have more than a person, you can, have one male, one female. It's that simple.
All right, Chris, thank you for that reply. I understand that there are some challenges of gender diversity as relating to the female gender. Can you just highlight some of the challenges you think of this gender diversity, relating it now to the female gender?
Challenges that exist, for the female gender with regards to gender diversity in offices. Well, one very popular one would be days off, days taken off. Like for most offices, you do know that maternity leave is included in your, leave days. And a lot of employers sometimes do get worried that hiring a female staff would probably lead to more days off. Maternity leave, I have heard, employers asking about, the female staffs, asking whether the female employee or the female applicant is married. That's one of the questions that I asked. Why? Because if you're married, the next question is, are you planning on having children anytime soon? Because if you're planning on having children, it means that you're going to probably go for a maternity leave, which for quite a number of employers, it can be a setback. And imagine if you have more female employees and quite a number of them go on maternity leave, you will or could be left with most of your workforce not available in your office. That is one of the major challenges. You also do have your basic female cycle, the monthly female cycle, which can also be an obstacle. Now, how many times do you hear of men going on maternity leave? It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. I mean, who knows? That could be a welcome development for quite a lot of men. I'm sure quite a number of male staff would be happy about that. If your wife is pregnant and you go on maternity leave to assist her at home, that would be welcome. But for quite a number of employers, you calculate the man hours that you lose, and that is one of the major problems. Now, if it's a job that has to do with physical strain, most times, because women are looked at as a weaker gender, most employers would probably want to go with a man, because women are looked at more as a weaker gender. That's just it. So I think that's pretty much it about gender diversity in an office. You have to go with what works for you. A lot of things are put into consideration. For most times, if the job requires a lot of empathy, most people would rather go for, a female employee. If it's more physical, most people would rather go for a male employee, but it can be balanced out. And with a quota system, dictate or decide what number of female staff you need and what number of male staff you need.
Thank you so much, Creed, for your contributions. Thank you for being on the show. We hope to have more of you on our segments.
Thank you very much once again for having me on the show today. I do appreciate it. And yes, you have a wonderful rest of the day too.
All right, we've been speaking to Chris Oluibo, a media personality. But that's all we can take on this edition of Women in Business. To watch this and other missed episodes, visit our website, follow all our social media handles, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment for us on the comment section. My name is Margaret Opara, and see you next time.